you will be pleased to hear the certificates of Miss Cardew's birth, baptism, registration, vaccination, confirmation, and the measles, both of the German and of the English variety.
A life crowded with incident, I see. Although perhaps somewhat too exciting for a young girl. I, for one, am not in favor of premature experiences. Gwendolyn, the time approaches for our departure. We have not a moment to lose. As a matter of form, Mr. Worthing, I had better ask if Miss Cardew has any small fortune.
Oh, about 130,000 pounds in the funds. That is all. Goodbye, Lady Bracknell. So pleased to have seen you.
A moment, Mr. Worthing. 130,000 pounds? And in the funds? Miss Cardew seems to me a most attractive young lady now that I look at her. Come here, dear. Pretty child, your dress is sadly simple, and your hair looks almost as nature might have left it. But we can soon alter all that. A thoroughly experienced French maid produces a really marvelous effect over a very brief space of time. I remember recommending one to young Lady Lansing. After 3 months, her own husband didn't know her.
And after 6 months, nobody knew her.
Kindly turn round, sweet child. No, the side view is what I want. Yes, quite as I expected. There are distinct social possibilities in your profile. The chin a little higher, dear. Style largely depends on the way the chin is worn. They are worn quite high just at present. Algernon, there are distinct social possibilities in Miss Cardew's profile.
Cecily is the prettiest, dearest girl I ever saw in my life, and I don't give 2 pegs about social possibilities.
Never speak disrespectfully of society, Algernon. Only those who can't get into it do that. Of course you know that Algernon has nothing but his debts to depend upon. But I am not in favor of mercenary marriages. When I married Lord Bracknell, I had no fortune of any kind, but I never dreamed of allowing that to stand in my way. I suppose I must give my consent.
Thank you, Aunt Augusta.
Cecily, you may kiss me.
Thank you, Lady Bracknell.
You may also address me as Aunt Augusta for the future.
Thank you, Aunt Augusta.
The marriage, I believe, had better take place quite soon.
Thank you, Aunt Augusta.
I, for one, am not in favor of long engagements. They give people the opportunity of discovering each other's character before marriage, which I believe is never advisable.
Pardon me for interrupting you, Lady Bracknell, but it is only fair to tell you that this engagement is quite out of the question. I am Miss Cardew's guardian, and she is not to marry without my consent until she comes of age, and that consent I absolutely decline to give.
Upon what grounds, may I ask? Algernon is an extremely, I may almost say, ostentatiously eligible young man. He has nothing, but he looks everything. What more can one desire?
It is very painful for me to be forced to speak the truth to you, Lady Bracknell, about your nephew, but the fact is that I do not approve at all of his overall moral character. I suspect him of being untruthful.
Untruthful? My nephew Algernon? Impossible. He is an Oxonian.
I fear there can be no doubt about the matter. This afternoon, during my temporary absence in London, on an important question of romance, he obtained admission to my house through means of false pretense of being my brother. Under an assumed name, he drank, I have just been informed, by my butler, an entire pint bottle of my Perrier Jouet Brut, 89, a wine that I was specially reserving for myself. Continuing in his disgraceful deception over the course of the afternoon, he succeeded in alienating the affection of my one and only ward. He subsequently stayed to tea and devoured every single muffin. And what makes his conduct all the more heartless is he was perfectly well aware from the first that I have no brother, that I never had a brother, and that I have not the smallest intention of ever having one in the future. I distinctly told him so myself yesterday afternoon.
Mr. Worthing, after very careful consideration, I have decided to entirely overlook my nephew's conduct to you.
That is very generous of you, Lady Bracknell. My own decision, however, is unalterable. I decline to give my consent.
Cecily, come here, dear. How old are you?
Well, I'm really only 18, but I always admit to being 20 at evening parties.
You are perfectly right in making some slight alteration. In fact, no woman should ever be quite honest about her age. It looks so calculating. 18, but admitting to 20 at evening parties. It will not be long before you are of age and free from the restraints of tutelage. So I do not believe that your guardian's consent is, after all, a matter of any importance.
Pardon me, Lady Bracknell, for interrupting you again, but it is only fair to tell you that, according to her grandfather's will, Miss Cardew does not legally come of age until she is 35.
35 doesn't seem a grave objection. London society is full of women of the very highest birth who have remained 35 for many years. Lady Dumbleton is an instance on point. To my knowledge, she has been 35 ever since she arrived at the age of 40, which was many years ago now. I see no reason why Miss Cardew should be any less attractive at the age that you mentioned than she is at present. There will be a large accumulation of property.
Algie, could you wait for me till I was 35?
You know I could.
Yes, I felt it instinctively, but I couldn't wait all that time. I hate waiting even 5 minutes for anyone. It always makes me rather cross. I'm not very punctual myself, I know.